I'm Tom Campbell, reporting for Western New York LaborToday.com. The Western New York AFL-CIO Labor Federation recently held its 2010 annual meeting in suburban Buffalo. The featured speaker was New York State AFL-CIO President Denis Hughes.
Let's just take a minute and look at what our main issues are. Really, our main issues are today. It is being able to be secure economically, to be secure in our old age, to provide for health care. And let me stop and say thank you for the work that all this council did and this Area Labor Federation did on the health care bill. And I'm very happy about that. Although it needs some help, it was a good victory. But all the things that matter to us as a movement, all the things that we fought for all of our lives, our working lives, our union lives, are now in jeopardy. So we have an opportunity here. We come to this in a situation where we know what has to be changed, we know what's at stake, and more importantly, we know what the truth is. And I'm mentioning truth because the arguments that we get against us, the things that move against us, are usually tenets that are just false, issues that are not true. The things we hear on radios, on talk radio and Fox News, the things that even legislators tell us, Democratic legislators, some of them here in this region, about who should take cuts and how much money should go into this and how deficits, the state deficit is killing us and all the things that go on, and taxes are too high, but yet nobody speaks to the issues of economic security. And the other things that we have no control over or we don't have enough emphasis on is economic policy, just straight economic policy. Brings me right to the IDAs. You know, the IDAs, System Industrial Development Agencies in this state, I don't have to tell any of you, you all live with it, breathe it, understand it. But it is particularly unsuccessful as an economic policy, particularly unsuccessful. If you look back the last 25 years, the only tangible results of that economic policy and those decisions was to create wealth, and wealth was created, but for a ribbon of people on the top, real estate agents, bond counsels, developers, people that are in the know, that move money around. But for the rest of us, particularly in central and western New York, the result has been lowering of wages and a raise in taxes. Wages are low because there is no wage standards. A new company could come in and undercut the wages that were built and sustained over time by unions and the community, come in with a lower wage, and for that act of lowering the wage, give that concern tax breaks so that everybody else in the community has to pay more taxes to cover them. So you have lower wages, higher taxes. I can't think of a more unsuccessful economic program other than the IDAs. So there we are. And I gave that explanation, and I got to this point by way of pointing out that we need to focus on what we want in terms of change. We need to focus. We need to be part of economic policy, but more so in public policy. And we have to do that by setting standards for our political action, for acting and dealing with political leaders from a position of knowledge instead of a position of consent. We have to take these guys on, these men and women on, Democrats and Republicans. We have to show them that we have a point of view. We have to show them that we understand tax policy, that we understand economic policy, and we do understand that the policies that they have enacted has, in fact, hurt us badly, very badly. When they talk about income tax in this state, and they talk about other taxes that are too high, the taxes that are too high, as Frank pointed out, are the taxes that working men and women pay regardless of their income. If you own a home, you pay real estate taxes when you're working and when you're unemployed, when you're starting out at a lower wage, when you're retiring at a lower income. You pay the same amount. Income taxes in this state, when you mention a more progressive income tax, as Frank laid out, people look at you, particularly Democrats at this point in time, look at you like you are, in fact, from another planet. The real solutions that'll help working men and women are solutions that will have to come by real social and political change. Now, how do we go about doing this? How do we move this thing forward? The first thing is that we have to get active and angry. And I say that with some degree of I'm a little, concerned about saying active and angry. But you notice that others, the people on the right, other people come out with this aggression. They come with this outrage. And it is us that should have that outrage, because it is us that are being pushed around. I would say, particularly this week, I would say that there should be delegations to see the political leaders on a state level, your state legislators here, and call them on their actions. Tell them that you're upset. Tell them that things are not going well here. And make sure, in fact, that they understand what you're saying, and ask them to justify their comments over the last couple of weeks. And you know what those comments are, and you know who made them. Get in their face. Ask for those explanations. Now, on a state AFL-CIO level, we are going to change the way that we do endorsements. We're not going to endorse everyone. We're not going to endorse based solely on party, although Democrats in the state Senate are very important to the future of this state. However, Democrats in the state Senate are not able at this point in time to move things forward. So we're going to have to look at primaries. We're going to have to look at the actions that people take, people that say they are our friends. We're going to have to look at how, in fact, they understand the economic realities, particularly in Western New York and Central New York. And we have to activate ourselves to make sure that when we make a particular stand or take a particular stand, we have the resources, the will, and the fire to enforce those opinions. It is us. It is the labor movement. It is our allies. It is groups that support us in the community. They're going to bring things back. So thank you for all that you do.